"Rabbi, why do you always answer a question with a question?" And the rabbi answers, "So why shouldn't I always answer a question with a question?" That's an old Jewish joke, and it tells the truth. Good teachers don't just give answers. Good teachers ask questions. Jesus asked a lot of questions. We just heard him ask his friends a couple of really big ones. Who do you say I am? That's a big question. Who do you say Jesus is? How do you name the meaning of your life? How do you name the mystery behind your life? And then Jesus asked, what will it profit you to gain the whole world but lose your soul? In other words, what difference does all this make in your life? Isn't behaving just as important as believing? Now, I got to sympathize with Peter. Jesus often puzzled him and challenged him. And Peter had his talks with Jesus. Well, I had my talks with Marie. Marie is my 28-year-old daughter, for those of you who are newer to St. Mark's. She's what they call developmentally disabled, autism, mental deficits, and behavioral challenges. But at our house, we call her the baby Buddha. That's because she has a way of saying things that make you think. Like Jesus, she can ask the big question. And one time she asked a doozy. She asked, if you were you, what would you do? That sounds like a Jesus question to me. If you were you, what would you do? I was at a dinner once with the bishop and his family, and I told Skip this story about how Marie asked this great question. Well, apparently the bishop's daughter, Emily, was struck by this. She was quiet at the dinner. At the time, she was a member of the high school youth group at St. James in Skaneateles. And that youth group got to paint their youth room in the church. Emily painted Marie's question on the wall. If you were you, what would you do? What difference does all this make in your life? Isn't behavior as important as belief? Last week, as you may or may not remember, I said that the New Testament was not written in English originally. It was written in Greek, and we now read various English translations. I love the story of a Bible study group that was talking about their favorite translations. And one person said, I love the old King James Version. It's the beauty and the tradition of the old language that really speaks to me. And someone else said, well, I love today's English version. You know, the Good News Bible. The language is simple and clear, and I love those little drawings in the text. And the third person said, well, I love my mother's translation the best. She translated the New Testament into everyday life. She was kind, and she was helpful. And that brought the teachings of the New Testament alive for me. At 10 o'clock today, we're going to baptize Allison Abbey. Allison is going to learn a whole lot more by watching what her parents do than by what they tell her to believe. That goes for every child. We will always continue to teach the Bible here at St. Mark's, and especially the Gospels according to Matthew and Mark and Luke and John. But a lot of people are only going to read the Gospel they see in your life and in mine. The Gospel according to you. The Gospel according to me. What will they read there? Jesus asks, who do you say I am? And then he asks, what will it profit you to gain the whole world but lose your soul? And I ask, what difference does all this make in your life? Isn't your behaving just as important as your believing? And the baby Buddha, my sweet Marie, asks, if you were you, what would you do?